Welcome back, boys. Today we have some clips of like Ben Shapiro and others completely melting down after like the interview that happened with Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. So the first clip here is Ben Shapiro is seething about the right wing splitting into Israel first versus America first factions. Not really surprising.
I want to do something different on today's show. We're going to cover one topic in depth. That topic is, I think, the most important thing happening in the country. It was a hot topic last week, but I wanted to take some time to really gather my thoughts and speak on it in coherent fashion, holistic fashion. That topic is the fragmentation of the political right. That fragmentation is being caused purposefully by a splinter faction of people led by a young man named Nick Fuentes. They call themselves the Groypers. They are white supremacists. They hate women, Jews, Hindus, many types of Christians, brown people of a wide variety of backgrounds, blacks, America's foreign policy, and America's Constitution. They admire Hitler and Stalin. And that splinter faction is now being facilitated and normalized within the mainstream Republican Party. The main agent in that normalization is Tucker Carlson, who is an intellectual coward, a dishonest interlocutor, and a terrible friend. And Tucker Carlson last week was aided, abetted, celebrated for normalizing Nazism within the Republican Party by the mainstay organization of the traditional right, the Heritage Foundation. Now, before we explain what's been happening, let's make one thing clear. This is not about free speech or cancellation. It was never about free speech or cancellation. Free speech has a definition, the right to speak free of governmental coercion. I believe in it, of course. I've always defended it. Criticism of bad speech is, in fact, just a form of free speech. Cancellation also has a definition, the banning of particular people, including people like Nick Fuentes, from platforms like X or Facebook. I believe that Nick Fuentes is odious and despicable, but I've never called for his cancellation, and in fact, I've called for his restoration to those services, despite the fact that I think he's odious and despicable. It is not cancellation to draw moral lines between viewpoints. In fact, we used to call that one of the key aspects of conservatism. It is not cancellation to refuse to signal boost Hitler's supporters like Nick Fuentes. It is not cancellation to criticize Tucker Carlson for rhetorically fluffing Nick Fuentes and other anti-American crackpots. It's not cancellation if you urge others to stop promoting those who rhetorically fluff Nazi apologists. Those are all elements of free speech. And anyone who says differently is lying to you and lying for the most cynical reasons to misdirect from their own defense of those Nazi apologists and their promoters. The issue here isn't that Tucker Carlson had Nick Fuentes on his show last week. He has every right to do that, of course. The issue here is that Tucker Carlson decided to normalize and fluff Nick Fuentes, and that the Heritage Foundation then decided to robustly defend that performance. Those who criticize both Tucker and Heritage aren't canceling. They are quite properly drawing a moral line.
Yeah, I mean, this is what happens, man. You make one, like, what was it? The joke or something. He made like a joke. Somebody sent in like a donation and he read it out. And now he's apparently some Nazi. The thing is, Nick Fuentes is not a Nazi. You know that if you watch him, he's not a Nazi. He puts America first, and he doesn't apologize for not really seeing the value Israel brings, right? He criticizes that and the money they send over, the how many billions, while Americans are suffering more and more in every single way. Even I can see that, and I'm in Europe, right? So the next clip here is Ben Shapiro says Israel first conservatives own America and will not allow Nick Fuentes to put America first.
My answer is no. No to the Groypers. No to their publicists like Tucker Carlson. No to those who champion them. No to demoralization. No to bigotry and anti-meritocratic horse shit. No to anti-Americanism. No. This is our country. This is our party. And this is our conservative movement. And I will not stand by while it is handed over to those who betray the most fundamental principles I have spent my entire life defending and advocating. That is a path to defeat and a path to moral oblivion. I reject it because if we lose the right, we will lose to the left. And either way, we'll lose the country. I'm Ben Shapiro. This is The Ben Shapiro Show. My answer is no.
Oh, okay. This is our country. This is our party. And this is our conservative movement. It's like I, like, bro, like, I'm not born, like, I'm here in Norway, right? I'm not born in Norway, but if I was championing, like, yeah, Latvia first, like, I don't like America, like, they should just, no, they don't, I don't like Norway, they should just send money to Latvia, I'm Latvia first. If I get thrown out, it's like, it's kind of my own fault. Of course, that will not happen, but it's just like, what are you doing? Like, isn't this dude in America? Why is this dude so on Israel, right? That's what a lot of people are asking. They're questioning people's loyalty. You know, are you America first or are you Israel first? And if so, maybe go to Israel. I don't know. That's what a lot of people are thinking. And you know, you ask these questions, and people try to people get really angry. You know, Dan Crenshaw says Nick Fuentes fell off before the Tucker interview, and cancel culture only applies to mainstream beliefs.
He was specifically referring there to a widely watched interview Tucker Carlson did with far right commentator and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes. Do you share?
He's not a Holocaust denier. I'm pretty, yeah. I'm guaranteed he's not a Holocaust denier. This is the thing, like these people, like how can you, who consumes this slop? You know, there's a lot of things I just don't agree with Nick on, or a lot of things I don't know. There's some things I don't agree with Nick on, but saying like he's a Holocaust denier, he's a Nazi, it's like it's such a bad tactic. Like you people are so bad for doing this, for just lying on a man's name like that.
Senator Cruz's concern about your party?
Oh, yeah. I'd say Mr. Cruz put it pretty well. I've had a long-standing feud with Tucker Carlson. I'm glad everyone else is. It's also waking up now to how bad of a person he is. He's changed a lot over the last 20 years. Hard to say why, but it doesn't really matter why. I mean, you have a guy like Fuentes on your show. You're uplifting what is a guy who has really fallen off the radar. You know, he used to send his followers to my events and try to ask me a bunch of questions about the Jews and
Fallen off, maybe because they banned him from all major fucking platforms. I think if he had those, he would be much bigger than he is now. And even with his size now, being banned from what YouTube, like major platform, he's still so popular. Like that's an achievement in itself. If you, if this guy was stripped of all major platforms, he would be a nobody. Nobody would listen.
and Israel support and all that and try to disrupt events. And they would try to infiltrate the MAGA movement. You know, they were really on a downhill slide. And for Tucker to have him on, Senator Cruz is exactly right. And this idea that we have to, that it's cancel culture if we keep Tucker out of our circles from now on is just nonsense. I literally wrote a book on cancel culture, so I've thought deeply about this.
Ah, you're an expert because you wrote a book. Like these people, man.
Cancel culture means you're canceling someone for what is basically a mainstream belief, or maybe a small honest mistake they made. That would be maybe considered cancel culture. It's not cancel culture when you say, look,
Yeah. Like, what do you call it? Like, Nick was put on a no-fly list. He wasn't allowed to fly for a year. He was treated as a terrorist by his words. Uh, like, what was debanked? Can you imagine that? You can't have a bank, like a bank. That's crazy. Like, how do you even like do stuff without a bank? Like, do you just do shit with crypto? How do you like? That's a really bad thing to have happen to you, right? And these people, it's always like this, man. They mess up society. A lot of these like leftists, they bring in immigration, they bring in crime, things get worse, social trust gets destroyed, but they live in their cushy neighborhoods, which are probably like 95% white, right? Let's be honest. And they don't see like the problems that their beliefs are causing. And sooner or later, kind of reality will hit, and you won't be able to hide in your room, watch anime, and play video games, and do all that. There will come a time where, just as the crime is, just as the train stabbing that happened in the UK, like stuff like this is gonna start to happen in the US, in Britain more, even here in Norway. All this, I do believe it is coming.
Look, I want to disassociate myself from you because your beliefs are crazy and
Yeah.
you're psychopathic and you are
Yeah.
falling apart in front of everyone. The disassociation is not canceling anyone, and I know some have suggested it is. So I think moral clarity is a lot more important in this case.
Yeah, okay. Nick is loving the stream of Israel First tears.
This meltdown by the Jews and their Shabbos or puppets over you and Tucker is just as satisfying to watch as the leftist meltdown when Trump won in 2016.
Yes,
It's
it
been 4
is.
days and they still can't stop crying, rolling
I
on the floor,
love
laughing
it.
emoji.
I love Israel First tears. They're delicious to me. I'm going to get a Israel First tears tumbler. Facts don't care about your feelings, Jews. Hey, Jews, facts don't care about your feelings. We're drinking your SJW tears. What, do you need a safe space? Oy vey, I need a safe space. Oy vey, I need a safe space because the anti-Semites are taking over. Oh, do you need a safe space? Need a trigger warning? Are you triggered? Are you triggered? I think Josh Hammer's a little triggered. He might need a safe space. Fortunately, they have a safe space. It's called Israel. They can go there.
Random viewer sent $20. This meltdown by the Jews and their Shabbos or puppets over you and Tucker is just as satisfying.
They have a safe space, man. Anyway, boys, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I catch you boys on next. Take care of yourself.